and it means a lot to us. But he remains a target for the Mexican authorities. Although all criminal charges against him have been dropped as baseless and unconstitutional, that doesn't mean that the Mexican government won't keep trying. They have laid the same charges a dozen times. Napoleon remains a true international trade unionist because he believes in global unions as the way to the future. With Jyrki Reiner as General Secretary, Napoleon is a member of the Industrial All-Executive Committee. Napoleon's story is a triumph for the international trade union solidarity, and I'm so proud to call him my friend, my brother, and my hero. Let's give a nice warm welcome, steelworker welcome, to Napoleon Gomez, the President of Los Mineros. How you doing, my friend?
Thank you. Bonjour, confrères et consoeurs, mes amis de Québec. Je vous salue tous. Je suis très heureux et très content d'être ici à le Congrès national d'orientation. J'ai dit que je suis à Québec, je me sens à la maison. Merci beaucoup pour votre hospitalité, fraternité et solidarité. Saludo a mis amigos y compañeros de México y de toda América Latina que están aquí presentes también. Dear sisters and brothers, thank you very much for the resolutions that you have approved today. Thank you very much for having me here in this fantastic conference, the National Policy Conference that I've been attending in different occasions, and I'm really very honored to be invited again and speak before you. I have a message today for you, and that is that workers in the United States, in Canada, and in Mexico, and I would say all over the world, have to fight together, even harder, for justice, respect, and dignity, inequality against inequality and exploitation. This is something that we have to do every single day in our jobs, in our political activities, in our trade unions. Los Mineros, after 10 years of political persecution against our members, our leaders, against me and my family, we have made great advances on the legal and political fronts. Everybody knows now about the final dismissal of the criminal charges, the false criminal accusations that they invented and created in order to destroy our union, our leadership. But we have made and succeeded before the Supreme Court of Justice the total and final exoneration of all these false accusations. And Mexico was condemned, the government of Mexico, by Interpol, because they used false accusations, false information, in order to issue a red alert against me so that I couldn't travel for more than 8 years outside of Canada. This is wrong, this is a shame. And even in the letter, which is a historical letter, because by written Interpol never says and publish a letter like this, they say Mexico used false accusations and information that doesn't comply with the rules of Interpol. This is something that is historical. The lawyers in Canada have called, this is your Interpol passport to travel abroad. And I've been traveling abroad since then, since August 2014, sharing this story. Everywhere, I have been traveling everywhere in the world except Mexico. They still there are not conditions, and they haven't provided the enough assurances that this is the safe passage for me to go back to Mexico. But I have continued working every single day with my colleagues through different means, with frequent meetings in Vancouver, in Canada, even now in the United States and other parts of the world where now that I can travel. And we have continued resisting all these attacks, because even today they continue to doing that. But we have made these important advances. We have also challenged, and this is what the kind of things that they don't like. 5 weeks ago, we went into a strike against ArcelorMittal, the biggest private industrial production of steel in the world. And we went challenging the government, because the government of Mexico has promoting that in the last 2.5 years or 3 years of this administration, there has not been a single strike in Mexico. And we say this is wrong, this is against the Constitution, it's against the Agreement 87 that the government of Mexico has signed for 87 years before the International Labor Organization. But the government of Mexico is trying to promote a wrong social and economic policy with low wages, one of the lowest in Latin America now, where we used to be the leaders in wages and benefits for Latin America maybe 15, 10, 20 years ago. And now we have one of the lowest. So they try to attract foreign investment and the national investment with low wages, with terrible safe working conditions, and also saying that there is no right to strike, that the unions, I mean, of course, even if it's legal, it's in the Constitution, it's in the labor law, it's in the Agreement 87 with the ILO, they still continue saying there are no strikes. And you know why? Because whenever we go into strike, they declare illegal the strike, even before we go to the picketing lines. And this is what they try to do against ArcelorMittal. And we say, we'll go to strike. We have been negotiating for 8 months with the company. They wanted to lay off more than 300 workers and change the benefits for the workers, and we say no. We postponed 16 times the day for the strike until finally we decided to stand up and fight back and say, we go to strike and we don't care what the government says, because it's the legal, the ones who are on the legal side is the government, because they cannot prohibit the right to strike as they have been trying to do it in many other parts of the world. So we challenged them, we went into strike. It lasts only for 9 days, because the company, they were threatening us, of course, that they were going to fire all the workers in Lázaro Cárdenas, Michoacán. 3,700 unionized workers, 5,000 workers on the whole, and maybe a community of 25,000 people affected by this. And they said, you are going to be fired, all of you. And at the same time, since we continue on strike, because the loyalty of our members is very strong, it's very passionate, then they say, well, we are going to use, the federal police forces to occupy the plant. And we say, we are prepared to resist that, because we discussed that in assemblies. So they didn't dare. Mexico is not in a position, in a situation to go into repress workers when they have done so many abuses and violent acts against workers and the people of Mexico, like the disappearance of students in Ayotzinapa, the 43 students in Tlatlaya, another 22, and many other things that are happening. So we challenged it, and finally the company came and said, okay, let's sit for negotiations on the 9th day. So we went into negotiations. They are not going to fire any workers. Only 81 will be retired, voluntarily retirement in the best terms and conditions. We won 100% of the lost wages, the total wages of the workers during the strike, 100%. And this is something historical too. And of course, the commitment of the company that no one was going to be fired out of this strike. This is the biggest steel producer of Mexico, one of the biggest private company in the world producing steel. And we won and we succeeded. And this was very important, because we had the loyalty of our members, but we also had a lot of international solidarity. From you, from United Steelworkers, from Industry All, from many other trade unions and federations of the world. We have also succeeded in organizing against all the opposition from the government, companies, the rat unions of Mexico that are trying to compete and interfere in our affairs. And we just in March organized 2 new locals from a Canadian mining company in the state of Durango in the north. And we are very proud of that because we have to go swimming against a tsunami of all the opposition and corruption, the media, the companies, the federal government, the state governments. But the decision of the workers was so strong to become members of our union that we organized and we succeeded to. And we have continued doing that, even in spite of all these problems and against all these problems they create against us. We have also continued with the highest and best wage and benefit increases of all Mexico. And this is important because we, in the last 10 years, we have more than duplicated the wages and benefits, the real wages and benefits of our workers, in some cases even 3 times, because we have really worked very hard protecting and defending workers' rights and human rights. And this is very important. This is very important for all of us, because now, of course, with this benefit increase and wage increases, this has made possible to our members to join, in some cases, of course, the middle class of Mexico. Now we can compete fairly on the basis of skill and productivity, not artificially depressed labor costs. Now our members can afford to buy the goods and services that you produce, that we all produce. Now we don't have to migrate to the United States or Canada because thanks to the union, our members have a life of dignity. The problem, or some of the problems, is that in Mexico, there are only a handful democratic unions like Los Mineros. We have this system that Industry All and Jirki Reina denounced, and of course you, your president, the international president, my dear friend and colleague Leo Gerard, and Ken Newman and Steve Hunt, all of you have denounced about the protection contracts. Most workers under the protection contract system are denied the right to organize, and they live in poverty and fear. We have also another of the challenges important is the trade agreements. NAFTA, which was a failure for Mexico and for the workers of Mexico, and I'm sure for the workers of the United States and Canada, and now the TPP exposed us to the brutality of the market, with fewer and fewer legal protections. Unions like ours that we do fight back face systematic and violent repression. And I will say this, brothers and sisters, as long as Mexican workers don't have rights, workers in North America are under threat. That's why we must work together to stop the TPP and demand real labor reforms in both of our countries. We have won some big victories, but we have still a long way to go. Let me tell a few other things that I want to share with you after being and attending this important conference. And now that we're coming to the end of this, for me, I'm sure for my colleagues who are here from Latin America, it is really amazing the vision and the work the United Steelworkers have done under the leadership of this great man, visionary man, Leo Gerard, in Canada under Ken Newman, in order to promote education, equality, and respect for women's rights, to train and educate young workers and prepare our leaders of the future. Also, for all the fight for health and safety and all the programs that you have done. Also, for the protection of the rights of First Nations communities and their workers and families. The international solidarity, the strength, the commitment, the passion that you, Leo, and all proud members of the United Steelworkers are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you very much for all your support and everything that you have done. I'm very proud of our strategic alliance between Los Mineros and the United Steelworkers, and we will continue strengthening this alliance because this is important for the future of all trade unionists, not only of North America or Latin America, from all over the world. I would also like to say, before I end my speech, that today we have to strengthen global solidarity and convert ourselves in social and political actors in permanent activity to protect and defend workers' rights and human rights. This is our time, this is our moment. We have to fight, to stand up and fight back. When I wrote my book, Collapse of Dignity, L'effondrement de la dignité in French, El colapso de la dignidad in Spanish, I was trying to share this story of abuses, of violent repression against the working class of Mexico, against Los Mineros, my union, against ourselves. But I was always trying to get and develop the conscience of everybody that abuses are committed all over the world, that repression and violence are committed every single day in Asia, in Africa, even in Europe, in many other places. And this is why we have to create and strengthen every single day global solidarity. This is so important to all of us. We have to see the future generations, the people who will be the leaders of the future, who will continue our work, what it has been done and what we have been trying to do. All these campaigns of stop the killings and enforce the law, which are so important. The life improvement of all our members to defend workers' rights and all these abuses, because companies all over the world act the same. They seem to be different. But once I was talking to Leo yesterday saying, once there is something that they have to share with the workers, they will oppose that. They will become all the same all over the world. They don't want to share anything. They are just looking for greed and corruption. And this is why we were attacked by some of the most corrupted politicians and businessmen of Mexico. But we have succeeded, colleagues. We have succeeded, brothers and sisters, in defending and protecting our rights. Even under all threats that we receive, even under all these attacks and smear campaigns in the media every single day, we have a vision of going further towards the future, thanks to three important issues and three important ones. For myself, it was the support and love of my family, of my wife, Oralia, who sends her regards to all of you. She couldn't come this time. To my children, the loyalty of our members, and most and very important, the international solidarity from all of you, the United Steelworkers, from the Industrial Global Union, from Latin America, from many other federations and trade unions from all over the world. Thank you very much. I think we have to continue fighting. This is important, this struggle, and I would say, in short, that Los Mineros and Steelworkers may be legally not one union yet, but every day that we are acting more like one, every day we are acting more like one, because we have common employers, we have common issues on bargaining, on organizing, on trade policy, on health and safety, on education, on legal strategy, on promoting women's rights, as we are doing now, because we have now a group of women in Mexico which are called Las Mineras de Acero, which is like women or the mine workers of steel, and every other area that we work together. Let's continue working together. International solidarity works. Thank you very much for all your solidarity, your support, your hospitality. As always, really from the deepest of my heart, I really appreciate your support. To my members, to our colleagues from Los Mineros in Mexico. And one important thing, just before I end, we will have on the 20th of April, this next week, a visit, important visit, because we remember on the 20th of April, in 2006, when the federal police forces and the government and the army attacked the same facility of ArcelorMittal. They killed 2 of our members. They injured more than 100. And we remember them every single year. And every single year, the United Steelworkers members have been there from different districts. And this year, we're expecting more than 140 on the 20th of April, and maybe like 20 from Unite, from England, and from other parts of the world, from Latin America as well. So it's important because this reflects solidarity. For us, for our members, give you strength and power to continue standing up and fighting back. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters, and I invite you to all of you to our National Convention, which will be the 3rd of May, the beginning from the 3rd to the 6th of May in Mexico City. If you can come, you are most welcome. I have sent invitations to many of your leaders and the district leaders and the national leaders and the international president, Leo Gerard, and the board of directors, and I hope that you can be, or at least some of you with us during this convention next month of May, from the 3rd to the 6th of May. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters, and solidarity for workers. Solidarity, solidarity, solidarity. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Let me, before I give Napoleon a gift of appreciation, let me just say a few words, and